Welcome to this video presentation comparing three leading large language models: Google Gemini, OpenAI's ChatGPT 4o, and DeepSeek R1. This presentation is based on practical benchmarking of RTTA, response time to answer, across 24 diverse and realistic workloads. The goal is to provide insights for developers, enterprise users, and researchers on which LLMs perform best under varying real-world conditions. This is also a technical response and companion piece to Michael Zaida's well-known article on DeepSeek in IEE Computer Magazine. We'll explore several topics. First, the motivation behind this study. Then we'll cover the test methodology and workload structure. We'll highlight Gemini's unique output model, present comparative performance data, discuss RTTA variance and why it matters, and summarize key takeaways for selecting the best model depending on your use case. This structure aligns with how developers and enterprises evaluate tools based on latency, consistency, and relevance. The motivation for this evaluation is clear. RTTA affects usability and workflow integration, while Gemini markets itself as a real-time AI with live web awareness. ChatGPT and DeepSeek focus on inference speed and coherence. Users want to know if waiting for live data is worth it. Our objective is not only to measure speed, but to understand how architecture influences interaction and model behavior. We tested 24 prompt types, including technical concepts like S3 and CUDA, infrastructure building like dual ring storage, translation between English and French, cybersecurity, code generation prompts, and creative queries. All were timed manually using a stopwatch. We normalized outputs and used Gemini's deep research setting, which triggers web crawling. Timing was done 3 times per prompt per model for fairness, and ratios were calculated relative to Gemini. What sets Gemini apart is its pipeline. Unlike the others, it fetches data from live web sources on demand. This means the user waits while Gemini chooses sources, crawls them, parses content, and only then begins generation. This causes delays of up to 10 seconds in some cases. In contrast, ChatGPT begins responding instantly from indexed embeddings. DeepSeek begins slower but processes the entire prompt before displaying a final output. Each model's strategy impacts user perception of responsiveness. The benchmark table shows how these differences translate into numbers. For example, on the prompt CUDA usage in HPC, ChatGPT was 40% faster than Gemini, and DeepSeek was even faster. Across the 25 most representative workloads, ChatGPT was on average 11% faster than Gemini. DeepSeek was a standout with a 59% average speed improvement. However, this raw performance doesn't tell the whole story. Output consistency and completeness also matter. One of the major challenges with Gemini is inconsistency. Due to web crawling, its responses varied in length and quality depending on crawl timing and source freshness. In some cases, responses were 30% shorter or lacked coverage seen in prior runs. ChatGPT and DeepSeek, by contrast, were remarkably stable. For enterprise applications like automated reports or agent-based workflows, this variance in Gemini makes integration harder. This variance is largely architectural. Gemini's need to wait on HTTP request completions adds to latency unpredictability. ChatGPT streams output token by token, giving a sense of speed even when the model is still thinking. DeepSeek seems to run a chained reasoning process internally, producing full paragraphs with reasoning inline. Prompt complexity affects all 3 models, but Gemini's reliance on real-time information makes its delays more dramatic. Looking at a side-by-side summary, ChatGPT shines in responsiveness and is ideal for chat interfaces and API services. DeepSeek is excellent for technical inference, particularly where speed is crucial. Gemini, while strong in factuality and recent knowledge, falls behind in performance and predictability. Each model has a use case sweet spot, and the key takeaway is to align your selection with your workload's real-time, speed, or consistency demands. In summary, If you prioritize up-to-date web answers and don't mind waiting, Gemini may work. For quick and smooth interaction, ChatGPT is the most user-friendly. For batch processing or research-style work, DeepSeek is currently the fastest. This analysis can inform procurement, API decisions, or UI integration strategies. Thank you for watching. Please check the full benchmark dataset and methodology linked below, and feel free to reach out with questions.